Well, hello there, my name is John Meyer, and I'm excited to share the latest from Somerville Sounds, Genesis pipe organ. The Genesis pipe organ is both a pure foundational pipe organ and also a soundtrack for good and evil. It's a collaboration between Somerville and my friend and fellow YouTuber Jameson Nathan Jones. One day when I was wasting my life away on Instagram, I came across this video that Jameson posted. He was playing a pipe organ in a beautiful church, and it was kind of noisy but quiet, and all these room sounds and other noises, and I fell in love. So I booked a flight to Laurel, Mississippi.
I'm still a YouTuber. How you doing, man?
Great to see you. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Yeah.
Now, Jameson is an exceptional organist, an accomplished artist and composer, but he does have an unhealthy addiction to synthesizers. He knows. Now, I'm sure this is problematic in many areas of his life, but I saw an opportunity. So began a year-plus-long adventure to merge the gritty, visceral sound of the pipe organ in that beautiful church with all of the synths and toys that Jameson had to play with to try to give us those sounds, those big angelic sounds, but also the deep, dark, nasty stuff, so you can take one instrument, one DNA, and go two different directions. It works in the free Kontakt Player, so the full version, the paid version of Kontakt, is not required. Just make sure that your computer is compatible with the required versions of Native Access and Kontakt. More information on our website. Now, Jameson takes a look at the instrument from his perspective over on his channel, so be sure and go watch that. In case you're unfamiliar, Native Access, you go to Add Serial, plop in the serial number that comes in the email after purchase. It will show up here, you follow the instructions, and you should be set. Then it shows up in Kontakt. I suggest you organize it just like mine, with all the Somerville instruments first. You can load in the basic NKI, and here we have it. Okay, I need to stop. We're going to make a nice, tight walkthrough video. Real quick, notice we have presets down here: Celestial, Foundations, and Infernal. So Foundations are more of the foundational, kind of the normal pipe organ presets. And then we have Celestial, which are more of the pretty pads. And then Infernal, which is more of the darker, grittier distortion. And I'll explain how we get there. I'm going to go ahead and turn these off for now, okay? More on that in a second. We have our Genesis, our main section, and this is the organ. We've got these faders here along with the pedal. One thing I want to be very clear about, this is not a pristine, beautiful, massive pipe organ sound. We purposefully kept it to the quieter layers. With this organ, we decided to lean into some of those noises that are created by the room and by the pipe organ itself. There will be other videos about the organ, but it has these shutters that open up, and when they open up, you hear all of that noise from the room where the pipes are. Here we have these different combinations of stops, and I'm going to turn everything off but the grand. So we sample the organ with the shades closed and then with them open, and you can go between the two with the mod wheel. Let's listen to Rich. And then the pedal. The attack is set super fast, but if I slow that down, you can get more of a pad-like texture. Let's turn them all back on. That's pretty great. But to me, the magic is in the processing. So we had Jameson take these sounds and then run them through everything that he could think of to run them through. And he gave us back these different layers. And the layers load into this top section here. There's a bunch of ings, and then you got chimes and bells. They all have a unique sound to them. So I can turn off the Genesis section. And right now, I'm just hearing that layer, that sound, through this module. I could also put this here and turn it off and then go to drifting here. It's the same layers, but now run through different processing. The spirit side has effects like wow and flange and a resonance, and it's meant to be a little smoother. This is where we get the prettier sounds. Over here, more of the destruction. We'll save that. But let's load in something like glowing. You have volume control. It's gone. It's all the way up. You can pan. And you can see that it is an octave up. And then we have a filter. Attack, decay, sustain, and release controls for this layer. And then we have the movement knob. Now, with every instrument that we make, we want to try to make it as inspiring as possible without getting lost in the weeds. I don't like opening up instruments. And this has quite a bit of control, but I don't like opening up instruments and not really knowing what to do without a lot of studying. So the guys on the team really worked to find ways to give you control without being overwhelming. Now let's check out this movement knob, and I went ahead and turned the master effects off. We'll get there in a second. This is the amount, which is in the center, and then on the outside is the rate. I'm going to turn pitch all the way up. When I turn up the amount, now I can turn up the rate. You can make that pretty wacky. Now just volume. Now pan. And then filter. What we really wanted was the sound to be able to swim around behind, and then you can mix that in with the main layer. And you can get some crazy stuff going on. Let's just do it slow, but a lot. But that allows for movement behind the sound, which to me is what makes it great, where you can hold one sound or play a lot less, but you've got these other sounds behind it that are swimming around. And then each one of these modules has these effects that are over all of the spirit. We have wow and flutter. Subtle, but it's a tape style warble, and flutter. Flange. And then resonance. Now over here, let's do faltering. That sounds like it should be over here on this side. Same identical controls. These are up pretty high, so let's see what happens when Let me turn these off. That's just the zeal. Let's turn these down. A tape effect. A tube effect. And crush. Bit crusher. And then everything is run through this effects section. So you have a filter, you got a cutoff, the ratio, which is like resonance, and then you have low pass, high pass, and band pass. Then you have delay, where you can change the time and the feedback and the low pass filter, and then you have reverb, and you can change the time, the size, and how much you dampen it. The best thing to do is just go through the presets. If you know you want something more angelic and pad-like, let's go into celestial. Band pass chimes. Get into the habit of reaching for that mod wheel. And say you like a lot of that, but it's too much, turn off the zeal. back on. How great is that? Patient pulsing. You have ADSR on all of these, so you can have one be short and quick and the other one hang out for a long period of time or take a long time to develop. And then look at our infernal sounds. Shimmering mutations. The best part about it is all that noise, especially in that pure sound. Sure, it's noisy, but that's what gives kind of the film grain feel to all of it. Notice that you're hearing this chimes layer, and then there's a bells layer. I love this thing. There's so many options. You right click, learn MIDI CC, and you can control all of these sounds via automation. So inside one plugin, you could do the soundtrack to an entire Netflix special. Go check it out at somervillesounds.com. Talk soon.